You're listening to the Options Insider Radio Network. For more quality options programs, visit www.theoptionsinsider.com or search for Options Insider Radio Network in your podcast provider of choice. Listeners can also access all of our programming through our mobile app, available in iTunes and on Google Play.
The options market can be a confusing place. Sorting through the daily avalanche of data, alerts, updates, articles, and analysis to find the most important information is an overwhelming prospect. But now you have help. Welcome to the Options News Rundown, the only program that breaks through the noise to bring you the most important news and information from the world of options. Every day, we bring you the top 5 option stories curated by the options experts at theoptionsinsider.com, the premier source for options information. The Options News Rundown is brought to you by Market Taker Mentoring, the leader in options trading education. Get trader education, daily trade ideas, and more with a free 1-week trial of Market Taker Mentoring's Live Advantage Group coaching class by visiting markettaker.com/insider. And now it's time to break through the noise. It's time for your Options News Rundown.
Good morning. Today is Thursday, June 20th, 2019. This is your Options News Rundown. I'm Dan Passarelli. Our first story of the day is from investing.com. It's the top 5 things to know in the market on Thursday. The first thing to know is stocks and gold ride a Fed-induced rally. 10-year Treasury yield dives. After the Federal Reserve signaled the possibility of policy easing later this year, waves rolled through financial markets worldwide. A positive close on Wall Street looks set to remain in full swing on Thursday, with Dow futures pointing to a triple-digit gain at the open. Asian shares joined the bullish sentiment, with China's Shanghai Composite up 2.4%. Not left behind, European bourses jumped to 6-week highs. The prospect for lower rates drove spot gold to more than a 5-year high, as the precious metal benefited from the reduced opportunity cost of holding the non-yielding asset, while weakness in the dollar at 3-month lows made bullion more attractive for investors using foreign currencies. The yield on the 10-year Treasury, which moves inversely to prices, was under pressure, diving below 2% for the first time since November of 2016, still off by more than 1%. It recovered to 2.001% by 5 a.m. Eastern. The second thing to know today is Bank of England steps up to the plate as BOJ stands pat. Among a growing chorus of central bankers worldwide swinging to the dovish camp, voices from the Bank of England have been pushing the need to hike rates in the future. Economists still expect the BOE to vote unanimously to hold rates steady at 7 a.m. Eastern, despite 2 policymakers who have recently spoke of the need for them to eventually move higher. The Bank of Japan, meanwhile, announced its decision overnight to stand pat on monetary policy in a widely anticipated move. Not unlike the Fed, the BOJ did stress that with escalating global economic risks, it was leaning more towards additional stimulus. The third thing to know today is oil spikes as attack downs a U.S. drone. Oil prices jumped on Thursday after a report that a U.S. military drone was shot down by an Iranian missile, exacerbating Middle East tensions. A U.S. official told Reuters that the drone was downed in international airspace over the Strait of Hormuz by an Iranian surface-to-air missile. U.S. crude oil futures jumped to an intraday high of $55.86 on the news, its highest level since May 31st. The fourth thing to know today is Slack preps for debut as Oracle wows. Slack Technologies will be in the spotlight as its shares get listed directly on the New York Stock Exchange on Thursday. The NYSE set the reference price at $26 per share on Wednesday, suggesting that the workplace messaging app is valued at around $16 billion. Shares of Oracle jumped around 5% in pre-market trade on Thursday as the business software maker reported better than expected fiscal fourth quarter earnings. Darden Restaurants and Kroger will be among companies reporting ahead of the bell, while Canopy Growth and Red Hat released their quarterly earnings after the market close. The fifth thing to note today is China confirms trade talks and highlights three issues. The ongoing Sino-US trade dispute. China's Commerce Ministry confirmed on Thursday that top officials would restart talks, but placed the onus on Washington to create the necessary conditions for dialogue. According to Beijing, the three obstacles include the removal of all the additional tariffs and disagreements over trade purchases and a balanced text for any deal. U.S. President Donald Trump said on Tuesday that he would hold an extended meeting with Chinese President Xi Jinping at the G20 summit next week. Our second story today is from investing.com. The dollar falls to 3-month lows on a dovish-sounding Fed. The U.S. dollar slid to its lowest level in 3 months against a currency basket on Thursday, after the Federal Reserve indicated that it is prepared to cut interest rates to combat low inflation and slowing growth. The U.S. Central Bank left borrowing costs unchanged on Wednesday, but suggested it could ease monetary policy as early as next month amid mounting concerns over the economic impact of global trade tensions and subdued inflation. The Fed dropped its pledge to be patient, instead saying it will act as appropriate to sustain the expansion and closely monitor the implications of incoming information for the economic outlook. All in all, this looks like the Fed's final step before the rate cut in a journey that started in January, said John Velis, FX and macro strategist at BNY Mellon. The Fed first paused its hiking cycle, then called a halt and became patient, and has now set up the case for a rate cut at the July 31st meeting. Market pricing is now nearly 100% convinced that that cut will occur. The U.S. dollar index fell 0.4% to 96.19 by 3:58 a.m. Eastern, the weakest since March 26th. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is news you can use for today, June 20th, 2019. Your Options News Rundown. I'm Dan Passarelli. Trade smart and have a great day.
The Options News Rundown is brought to you by Market Taker Mentoring, the leader in options trading education. Get trader education, daily trade ideas, and more with a free 1-week trial of Market Taker Mentoring's Live Advantage Group coaching class by visiting markettaker.com/insider.
The preceding program was a production of the Options Insider Radio Network. For more quality options programs, visit www.theoptionsinsider.com or search for Options Insider Radio Network in your podcast provider of choice. Listeners can also access all of our programming through our mobile app, available in iTunes and on Google Play. Don't forget to follow along with your favorite programs and submit your own questions for the hosts at twitter.com/options, facebook.com/theoptionsinsider, or via questions@theoptionsinsider.com.